Ethereum, it's the talk of Wall Street, powering the stablecoin and tokenization revolution, and a gold rush is on to acquire as much Ethereum as possible. We already know BMNR and SBET are gobbling up as much Ethereum as they can get their hands on, but a new player has emerged, entered the arena, and we cannot ignore it. That company is called Ethzilla. And if Peter Thiel gets his way, like he usually does, this could be the dark horse of the cycle. Welcome to Risky Ryan Trades. In this video, I'll break down exactly who Ethzilla is, how much Ethereum they're after, why Peter Thiel's connections could make them impossible to ignore, and 7 mega investors who could transform Ethzilla into a behemoth. Stick around to the end because the numbers we're talking about could reshape the ETH supply itself. So first, who and what exactly is Ethzilla? Ethzilla is a newly emerging Ethereum Treasury Company, and their goal is simple: to accumulate massive amounts of Ethereum. Right now, they look small compared to BMNR and SBET, but that could change in a big way very quickly. So Sharplink Gaming, SBET, they hold over $2.7 billion in ETH as of the moment of this video, and projections are that they're on pace to surpass $3 billion. BMNR, which is backed by Tom Lee, recently announced plans to scoop up as much as $20 billion worth of Ethereum, which is about 4.6% of the total supply. So they are the big dog in this little ecosystem here. But then there's Ethzilla. Today, their holdings look tiny compared to these other giants, but here's the thing. They have Peter Thiel in their corner, and he has shown the ability to raise immense amounts of capital. He's not just another billionaire. He's like the global oligarch. He's right up there with Elon Musk. He's the co-founder of PayPal, which he co-founded with Elon Musk, co-founder of Palantir, and an early backer of Facebook. More importantly, he has deep ties to wealth funds, venture capital firms, and hedge funds. The same funds that already have written multi-billion-dollar checks into his past ventures. Peter Thiel is Ethzilla's secret weapon. He has capital pipelines that most crypto companies could only dream of, which brings us to the question, who exactly could Peter Thiel bring to the table? So I know some of you might be skeptical. Can Ethzilla really raise billions just because Peter Thiel is involved? Let's break it down. I'm going to walk you through 7 of the biggest funds in the world, explain why they'd even care about Ethereum, show you how Thiel has worked with them before, and then tell you how much they could realistically put into Ethzilla. Company number 1, Sanabil Investments out of Saudi Arabia. This is Saudi Arabia's main growth investing arm. They manage hundreds of billions, and their job is to take oil money and put it into future industries. Peter Thiel has worked with them before through his funds, and they've invested billions into the same projects he's been involved in, like SoftBank's Giant Vision Fund. Why would they be interested? Because Ethereum is shaping up to be a core part of the future of finance, and the Saudis want a seat at the table. A realistic number from them would be around 700 million to 1.5 billion. That range is the typical for when they initiate an investment, and that's kind of what I looked up to determine these numbers. When I say, how much money these companies are going to, or these firms are going to be investing, that's what I'm basing it on, what they've done in the past, what their minimum investments are, what their maximum investments look like, at least initially. So continuing on, number 2, Mubadala. They're from the Abu Dhabi, they're the United Arab Emirates, and they manage close to $300 billion. They've already been big investors in tech, AI, and fintech. The UAE is pushing to become a global crypto hub. Teal has ties here through partners like Silver Lake and Palantir. In the past, they've written checks of 500 million to $1 billion for tech deals. Could do the same for Ethzilla. Number 3 is Temasek. They are Singapore's big state investor. They've managed over $300 billion and are known for being careful but forward-looking. They prefer to invest in picks and shovels, and Ethereum is the base layer for tokenization and financial infrastructure, so this would fit their strategy. They've co-invested in fintech deals with Teal in the past, and before they've done deals in the $250 to $500 million range. Number 4 is GIC. They're Singapore's big fund, even larger at over $700 billion. They have invested in long-term tech and finance. GIC focuses on long-term global rails, and Ethereum is looking like it could be just that. They've co-invested with Teal's Founders Fund on U.S. growth deals, and past tickets have been between $300 and $700 million. Number 5 is ADIA, Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. This one's massive. Close to $1 trillion under management, making it one of the biggest funds in the world. ADIA wants to cement Abu Dhabi as the crypto financial capital, and this investment would follow that theme. Teal already has connections through Palantir, which has contracts with UAE ministries, and ADIA has worked with his network before. They've written $500 million deals into infrastructure and tech and could commit anywhere from $500 to $1 billion in investments. However, with $1 trillion in under management, the sky's kind of the limit depending on how much Teal can get out of these guys. But we'll just go with the $500 to $1 billion investment because that's kind of their typical. Number 6, Qatar Investment Authority. Qatar has around $475 billion under management. They're less aggressive than the Saudis, but still active in tech. They have stated that they are seeking non-oil hedges and global influence in fintech. This would be an appropriate investment for that theme. They're co-invested in some of the same big private rounds Teal has been a part of. In the past, they've written checks for $200 to $500 million in growth tech. So a similar range is possible with Ethzilla. And then finally, rounding out this list is number 7, SoftBank's Vision Fund. You probably heard of this one. This is the $100 billion mega fund started by SoftBank. Teal has been an advisor to them and invested alongside them many times. They're famous for writing huge checks for bold tech plays, anywhere from $500 million to $2 billion. So we're just going to use $500 million to $1 billion as a realistic expectation. So across all 7 of these funds, you're looking at a potential $3 to $6 billion that could realistically flow into Ethzilla. And remember, every single one of these numbers is grounded in history. Teal has worked with them before. They've written checks this size before. And Ethereum lines up perfectly with their strategies for the future of finance. That's why Ethzilla, even though it's a small player today, can't be ignored. With the right connections, it could go toe-to-toe with BMNR and SBET in the race to hold the largest Ethereum treasury. So let's zoom out. BMNR wants $20 billion. SBET is closing in on $3 billion. If Ethzilla can secure between $3 and $6.5 billion from these capital pipelines, it would instantly leap itself from a minor player into a heavyweight. So here's the bottom line. Ethzilla is tiny today, but Peter Thiel's connections could change that overnight. We shouldn't be ignoring this project because if Teal gets serious, Ethzilla could potentially leapfrog Sharplink and send the stock soaring higher. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Ethzilla has what it takes to catch up to SBET? Could it potentially catch up to Tom Lee and BMNR? And which ETH Treasury play is your favorite? Thanks so much, and until next time, Risky Ryan, out.